Hey, what's up everybody? It's Matt10. How are we doing? So, I've got a modification on the sliders I posted the other day. It's still legendary, still 15 minutes, still on slow. We made a change in pass error. I know there have been complaints there because crosses have been off. They haven't been computer hasn't been able to cross very well. Just some other things like that. So we went from 95 to 75, and now it's really starting to look good. Crosses are still sometimes can be a little whack, but it's not too bad. You'll still get a good result from the computer attack. So. Another change here was marking. This was a big decision in the sense that I'm really straying away from what I had before, which was, I believe, 80 for the user and 75 for the computer. And the reason I did this here is twofold. First, players are getting pulled out of positions left and right on the higher marking. We already knew that. I talked about that in the previous video, how marking is a value for man marking, and that's all that's done in this game is man marking. So we have to almost, kind of have to concede to what EA is giving us here. So I'm going to keep it close to default, but 52 is really nice because I've figured out that the higher value in the sense closer to default, so I'd say between the value of 51 to 55, this is how soon the computer is going to tackle. So if say you're one-on-one, which is usually the case in a lot of attacks, that issue with bursting past the computer, where you can just you move the left analog, done, you're gone, right? And that's that. Well, now it's remedied in a little bit. It's still there on occasion with really fast players, but at least the computer makes an effort, makes a tackle, touches the ball, maybe even takes you out on it for a foul. But this is nice because they react a lot quicker, in the sense that they're going to drop back just a bit and give you enough room, and then that way they can make a decision. It's unfortunate that this game's so plagued by the 1v1 method of defending throughout the field. So I think keeping this close to default is important. And the reason I'm keeping it close to default is because what I want to use this as a sense for my sliders is I'm going to let the line values dictate how this defending works. So I'm not, on default, you're just coverage throughout the field. You have to just go end to end from box to box. This is different with this line height staying the way at 65, which is kind of the anchor, if you will, with this set. But then I dropped line length just a little bit down from 45. The reason I'm doing that is because on 45, there's your position of your players in front of the defense was still a little too far up the pitch, so the attackers would get behind them, sometimes even, and that results in them, being able to swiftly attack, not as much build up. And so I wanted this to be even for both. Oh, let's go to the user here. So that's the same with the user as well. So 65, 42, and 32. 32 is a big one from the width that I previously had on 70. Now, the reason I'm doing this is because I want to get more physical play, but also more strategy to attack. Can't attack just wide for every single team. I want teams to play the way they're built, and this helps that. 32, I know, and I just changed that, there we go. And I just, with 32 is really nice because on 70 it was just way too much field to cover, way too much open space with your defensive line, which results in those easy kind of attacks by the computer. Now they have to really build up, and they really do well in it, and they got a good variety of attack as well. Through balls, over the top, long balls, either one. They do well in seeing a good variety depending on the tactics. But line width is really important, and you'll start to see that. And why these 42, why 32, why not 45, 35? Like I said about 45, it's just too much length up the pitch. And then 32 is pretty important too, because on 30, which I tried for a majority of the time, the defenders, the backs, left back and right back, they wouldn't come up to meet the ball carrier early enough. So this allows them to still be on the opponent side of the pitch without having to move any D-pad configurations or anything like that. So the two last values here is fullback positioning You know, that's just to get them moved up that pitch on transition, like I mentioned in the previous video. And then first touch control for both, I'm putting at 100. That's a big one as well. I like it because there's a random play now, and then the real good players stand out. You'll see in the video that I have two matches. I have one with lower league teams, and then I've got another with Premier La Liga teams. So that'll definitely show the difference, between quality and how it should be. So this way, when you play in your Capital One Cups or anything like that, you're not playing against, I don't know, Rochdale, who I'm going to show here, beating up on Manchester United because they make such perfect touches, But yeah, so that's pretty much the idea, guys. Got these next clips coming for you, and just check them out. You won't really, get as many players forward if you don't. I know that sounds obvious, but even more so with this setup because of the low line settings. It's even more important. So just a heads up there. That was a good idea. I'm going to lose this, so I'm going to drop back a little bit more to just defensive. And like I said, the reason I wanted to drop the line settings for line length and then width is because of this right here. The computer's able to build from the back, but it's also, they're not completely overcommitted. See, they still have players back, but see, now you can see them start to come back. See, I'm in defensive position, but if I'm in the regular setup, I'll still have an attacker, so I won't have 11 men behind the ball. So that's what was going on with the previous set, so I wanted to make sure I could get that cleared up just a bit. And now we can kind of try to catch them on a counterattack. Nice play here by Henderson. Manual shooting didn't work. Great save by the keeper. 3 saves by the keeper. That manual shooting of mine, I tell you. But those are the kind of opportunities that, that's what makes or breaks your, I guess, winning the match. Trying to take advantage. And see, look at them really playing aggressive now, trying to build in. I've noticed that in that marking as well, at 52, that they actually really are more physical, better timed, for the most part, but still very physical. Like even right here, trying to get past him, he's just pushing me away. On the higher settings, I didn't see that. So, I have to be, I have to admit defeat in the sense that my higher settings just wasn't working. It kind of took up a lot of time in the sense of having to defend constantly. Always worrying about guys, going out of position. Now, with these line settings, I kind of underestimate my own line settings, though. They are what's going to make the defense work. The height, and the width and the length. Those are what's going to make the game work for me. And see, I can already tell how different of a game I'm playing from the ones before. I haven't made it through a full match in a long time because I keep testing. I keep seeing things I don't want to see. And see, there's a foul right there. That's an unlucky call. I didn't think that was a foul, but this is the name of the game. This is what was missing in FIFA 14. But see, they didn't take advantage. And a note on that as well, because we know with 75, it's not, default level, so they're not going to make the best crosses in the world. But remember, it also depends on skill level. Yes, right there. That would have been exciting if they had actually made a play on it. Oh, here's a good chance. The substitute. No. See, I'm really trying to just catch them on the counterattack right now. It's not usually my style of play, but they're committing men forward, so I'm going to try to do the same. On that 75 passing, I've seen a lot of better play by the computer in the sense of their attacking style. They still go down the wings, which is realistic. They do play a lot of short balls, but they don't dribble as much. But they still dribble more than I would personally like. But every team plays differently, and that's the key with having the lower pass error. The 95 just wasn't working, but it was a good base to start. Oh, that's a terrible ball. Okay. But like I said, it was a good base to start. You have to start somewhere. I'm a very much, my style of finding out sliders is going from extreme to extreme. And 95 was definitely an extreme. You see, this is nice because they have to build up, and I have to just make sure to just defend the best I can. And there I held the secondary pressure just a little too long, you know, and that's what you get. So this next match here is Valencia versus Sevilla. So these are, you know, a little bit better teams, the upper 80s or so. You see already the speed of the players is already apparent. But I like that. I can still keep my shape of the sliders, line settings, and everything. See, well defended. Good coverage throughout the field so far. Still good. Not the best touch in the world, though. And I want them to do this, you know, where they start building, kind of not in the defensive third necessarily, but just a little bit before, you know, more in the midfield. I know I'll be having to, you know, against a better team, a good crisp passing team like Valencia, it's going to be tough to defend. But I like also the 52 is nice because I can hold down secondary pressure if I'd like. I have to be careful with it, but I can get away with it in the midfield. So here I'm holding it down while I'm defending the flanks, and see, that worked out really nicely. So here I can do it again if I just drop back just a bit. And do it again, and they force them to pass backwards. This game is naturally very fast. It's almost as, you know, how FIFA 13 started. And it was really tough to get that game to play right. I didn't even come up with sliders in that game. So, you know, to my eye, I think it's still very fast to what I would like. I even have played around with 40 as an acceleration and 30 as a sprint speed, just because I wanted to see something a little bit, you know, more realistic in terms of pace and everything. That was a nice play there. But, you know, you gotta take how the game is built, and that's what it's built around, pace, and that's the name of the game these days, you know. Unfortunately for realistic enthusiasts. But see, here's one of the issues I have is, see, that's good right there. In the past, if you guys, I'm going to go to the replay real quick. What I was talking about earlier about the burst speed issue, go a little bit forward here, is where you can get through a defender. And that was the problem with the higher marking settings. See, I would take him on, and push out somewhere to, and see right there. But his tackle was perfectly timed. Oh, I didn't realize that was the ball. But that was really, really nice to see, because that's how a lot of my goals are being scored. I know I'll probably still see that animation. I think it's built within the engine, unfortunately, but I think if I see more things like that, I'll be definitely content, because a lot of my test goals that I hate, a nice effort. A lot of my test goals, or, you know, tests that I've done with the sliders, and a lot of the goals I score have been by exploiting that burst issue, and that was a big deal to me to have that fixed. And so I'm not going to say it's fixed yet. I think I can probably still pull it off, but I think the recovery is in time. The line settings, like I said, are going to be the defense I'm going to use, not necessarily the marking value. So that's really important as well, and that's another reason the acceleration is where it's at as well, because if you go too low on acceleration, they can't make that play, because they're well behind, you know, behind the player, and so there's no point in, you know, they try to aim for a tackle or whatever, but they're not going to be in front or behind, or they're not going to be on time, basically, is what I'm trying to say. But overall, this is playing out really nicely so far. You know, it's a good battle, kind of end-to-end, but not so easy end-to-end, if you know what I mean. Not like on default where you just, you know, pass here, pass there, you're done. You know, a couple passes and then done. But you see, I'm making the computer work for, you know, for their attack. You see right there, I'm intercepting passes. Just being a smart defender. And there I go again, trying to exploit it, and it actually worked out. We can actually exploit him here. Oh. Whoa, why didn't the keeper do anything there? And then again, wow. That is what I like about the keeper at 20. Um, they just do random play. I don't understand what they do sometimes. It's nice because, you know, the ball's in the air. Oftentimes keepers, they usually resort to just giving up because they know the referee's going to have their back. It's kind of similar here. They let the ball play out. Oh boy, I'm getting okay. That's offside. But they also let they let a lot of the air balls go, and sometimes they'll even just mishandle it, which is really nice to see because they have a lot of pressure. One thing I did want to mention real quick before I end up here is first touch control at 100. You wouldn't be able to even tell if you didn't know that. But see, the better players are going to have obviously better control. I didn't want championship players or League One players have exquisite control like these players. And this is well done here. Oh. That's going to happen on occasion. It's not going to happen all the time, you know. I'm such a snob that I don't like to have anything given to me. So to me that felt like a given attack. So hopefully it doesn't happen as much. But when it does, you know, I just have to accept it at that point. Like, this game is just going to do that to you. Well, guys, that's all I've got for today. Please leave your comments below. Thank you so much for following those that you have, or those that have. I'm going to go ahead and get my career mode announcement out. I am going to be using Aston Villa for my career mode. Hopefully I can use them for the entire time, because I often get fired because I make the game too damn difficult on myself. So hopefully I don't do that this time. Hopefully I can enjoy a long, prosperous career at Villa Park. Maybe I'll finish off this video with a goal. Alright guys, well, thanks again for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts on these sliders. Have a good one. Take care and stay tuned.